Today, I'm gonna be going back and watching every time that I beat a Mario Party minigame perfectly. I'll be giving a little bit of insight on each one, and I'll give a rating at the end of how hard I think each one was. So first up, we have Trace Race, and this one is the first time that I ever got a perfect score, and it was pretty difficult. The one thing that I do mention with this game, though, is that it's not about how perfectly on the line you are, it's just about how much of the line is actually covered by the marker. As you can see right there at the end, I had a little bit more time, so I went back and just made sure that all of that was covered, and we got the 100%. This is probably an 8 out of 10 in difficulty. Next up, we have Crazy Cutters. This is the first stage, the boo shape, and this one was definitely the easiest out of all three of them because it's pretty much just a circle with a couple of points in the middle. This one is actually the perfect score where the fire alarm went off in the middle, and true story, I actually did leave the building, came back, and just 2 tries later, I got the perfect. This one did take a long time, but I'll give it a 6 out of 10 because little did I know how hard this minigame really was gonna get. Now we have a hammer drop. Instead of getting a score that actually was perfect by the game, I decided to try to play this minigame where I get every single coin and have all the other computer players get 0. Now obviously I just set them to easy difficulty to make this work because this would be way too difficult any other way. But this one actually did take quite a bit of time. Basically the key with this game is that you always have to be looking at the next coin that the hammer bro is gonna drop. And if you do it perfectly, you'll have 79 to 81 coins at the end. For difficulty, I'll say this is a 5 out of 10. Oh, but now we have this one, the Crazy Cutters Chain Chomp stage. This was seriously hard. In hindsight, I probably should have gone left instead of right at the start because, as you can see, when you go over the teeth, Mario kind of blocks the tip of the drill and it makes it very difficult, but I don't know. I was an hour into it and I was like, no, I've been going right the whole time. I just gotta stick with it. I'm just gotta make sure that you have all the angles right on that one, and I finally got the 100. That took literally 2 hours and it just about broke me. That is definitely a 10 out of 10 in difficulty. Next up, we have Hot Rope Jump, and funny story about this game. So me and Elijah were just playing a game of Mario Party Superstars casually, and we got this mini game and both of us maxed out the score. So I had an idea for a perfect score. I was like, okay, what if I set up a second controller, in this case it's Luigi, and if I just jump over the flame on both of our controllers for all 99 jumps, that is technically a perfect score, right? So that's exactly what I did. As you can see, about midway through, Waluigi and Wario get hit by the flame and are out, but the bros keep jumping at the same time all the way through to 99 where the game ends and both of us get a perfect score. And honestly, this was pretty easy. I'll say 1 out of 10 for difficulty here. Then we have the final Crazy Cutters game, the Blooper. Honestly, I expected this one to be even harder than the Chain Chomp, but thankfully that was not the case. Actually, the score here was a lot more generous for some reason. Like every time I would be like in the 90s, and I don't know, apparently even with all these points and weird angles at the bottom, it was really easy to just get them all right, and within just about 10 minutes, I actually got a perfect score here as well, 100 points, so I don't know what the deal was there. I'll give the Blooper a 5 out of 10. Then we have a Nightlight Fright, and a perfect score for this one is to stop the Chain Chomp right at 0.1, but that is difficult because, as you can see, the Chain Chomp is different on all 4 screens, and it kind of moves randomly, so turning around at just the right time there is really hard and kind of luck-based. Because of that, I'll say 7 out of 10 for this one. Then we have Rapid River Race. So for this one to be perfect, we have to mash A very quickly at the start and get our speed all the way up to max right there, and then we just have to keep moving back and forth so we don't hit a single urchin throughout the entire course. And with us going super fast, that is not easy. Our reflexes have to be on point right here. But as you can see, I got it, and I got a time of 18.76. Maybe it's not exactly perfect, but that's basically the general perfect score right there if you mash all the way at the start. And as you can see, we are way ahead of the computers. Because of how fast you have to react here, this one is probably also a 7 out of 10. One of my favorite games here, Bill Blasters. So I'm playing against the master CPUs, and for this one, I have to win and not get hit a single time, keep all 3 of my dots, and that is pretty difficult because this one is also kind of luck-based and just hoping that none of the CPUs go for you. One thing that I did notice is to keep firing your cannon as much as possible so that it's always in front of you for defense. All you can really do is just hope that the computers try to go after each other computer and not try to hit you. This is a pretty rare event that I found. I'm gonna say 9 out of 10 for this. Dinger Derby. I used to be terrible at this one, but then I learned the strat of watching the arm of the pitcher. Basically, you just want to remember that a slower pitch means a faster ball, and a quicker pitch means a slower ball. And also the slowest pitch means a curveball. I thought this one was gonna be impossible, but honestly, after learning all that, you can get pretty consistent at it, and I was so happy when I finally got all 30 of those hits. I'll say 7 out of 10. Still pretty difficult, but a lot easier than I expected. Now we have Eats a Pizza, so Peach is on my team. She is set to easy difficulty, and we have to finish this entire pie. That means that I had to do a lot of mashing for this minigame, and that is where a lot of the difficulty comes in. You pretty much have to finish off like 70 to 80% of this pizza, and mashing the button to eat all of that gets really, really tiring. That's why it was very satisfying to see the perfect right there. Honestly, I'm gonna say 8 out of 10 for this one because of how tired it made me. Next, there's Reverse a Bomb, and of course the challenge is to not get hit a single time. So I have all the computers set to hard difficulty here, but that doesn't really make Peach any better because as you can see, she just kind of stays at the bottom two the whole time, and that pretty much just means that I have to do most of the work up here, making sure that none of these bombs hit us. As you can see, towards the end, the bombs got really close to us, but thankfully we had a massive combo beforehand, so we could eliminate them with just 3 seconds left. This one actually took a decent amount of time. I'll say 7 out of 10. Have you ever seen someone get 10 points on Flash Forward? Because it is rare. These computers are unpredictable and will always try to punch you no matter what. It is nearly impossible to stand on that platform and pose by the time the picture takes, but as you can see, only the last second or so matters, and even though I was slightly off the platform, I still got 10 points and I somehow won. That was definitely a 9 out of 10. It took forever. Finally, we have Facelift, but I saved this one for the end because it's not really a perfect score since I couldn't get it. In fact, no one has. Lining up these elements on Bowser's face is literally pixel perfect. The highest score ever recorded was 98, and the best I could do here was 95. I really don't know if anyone ever will get 100 on this game, so I think I have to rate this game on a difficulty of 11 out of 10. Basically impossible. Try out these games for yourself and let me know how many perfect scores you can get. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.